Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Moin Hettiarachchi.
And I'm Kasni Balachandra Adhikari. We start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Former Deputy Minister Sarana Gunawardena sentenced to 16 years of rigorous imprisonment. Allegations that certain quarters are trying to sabotage investigations of Easter Sunday attacks. State of emergency passed with a majority vote. Information revealed regarding a racket to exit a large number of dollars from the country. 7 persons dead in various accidents occurred in several places of the island. Cabinet approval to establish an authority for upper watershed areas management. Death toll in the Israeli attack on Taiz city in Lebanon goes up to 9. 28 seriously injured.
Now to those and more stories in detail on today's top story. Former Deputy Minister Sarana Gunawardena has been sentenced to 16 years of rigorous imprisonment after being found guilty in 4 corruption cases.
And the sentence comprises 4 years for each case. In addition, the Colombo High Court today imposed fines totaling 1.8 million rupees in relation to the case.
The order was delivered by Colombo High Court Judge Mohammed Mihal following the conclusion of the corruption trial. Gunawardena had been charged with causing losses to the state while serving as the chairman of the Development Lotteries Board in 2006 by facilitating benefits to vehicle owners during the procurement of vehicles on a rental basis for the institution. Accordingly, Bribery Commission had filed 4 separate cases against him. After the conclusion of the trial, the High Court judge had initially announced that the verdict would be delivered on 30th April. However, when the cause was called on that date, the judge informed the court that the judgment was not yet ready and postponed the ruling to May 26. When the case was again taken up on May 26, the judge stated that the judgment was still not ready and rescheduled the verdict for 9th June. Accordingly, when the cases were called today, the judge announced that the verdicts would be delivered. Delivering the ruling in one of the cases first, the judge noted that the judgment comprised of 69 pages. The accused had served as the chairman of the Development Lotteries Board from August 1, 2006 to July 31, 2007. During that period, causing losses to the institution by granting undue benefits to vehicle owners in the process of obtaining vehicles on rental basis. The judge noted that payments amounting to 1,560,000 rupees and 1,521,000 rupees and a tax advance payment of 960,000 rupees had been made in relation to the rental of 3 vehicles. Similar allegations had also been raised in other 3 cases filed against the accused. The judge further stated that evidence had been presented by the prosecution indicating that officials of the institution had been pressured and influenced to facilitate those payments. Delivering the verdict, the judge said that prosecution had proven the corruption charges against the accused beyond reasonable doubt. Accordingly, the court found Sarana Gunawardena guilty on all relevant charges. Thereafter, counsel appealing for the defence appealed for leniency in sentencing, stating the accused is a 62-year-old individual suffering from various ailments. Responding on behalf of the Bribery Commission, Assistant Director General Asita Anthony told the court to deliver a judgment that will serve as an example to society and help deter corruption. The judge further stated that the court had decided to impose a sentence that drew attention to the need to protect public funds and act as a deterrent against corruption.
The Cabinet Media spokesman, Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, says that a certain group is attempting to sabotage the investigations into the Easter Sunday attacks. At the Cabinet press briefing held today, the minister said if Suresh Saleh is innocent, he should be supported to conduct the investigation.
Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that a certain group had created an uproar and commotions which were not present during the first 90 days. Suresh Saleh had been detained following the imposition of a travel ban on 3 individuals, including Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He mentioned that it appeared a group was actively working towards that end. He added that Tuan Suresh Saleh had served as a public officer as well as a military intelligence officer and was well aware of how these investigations were conducted. The minister pointed out that when when investigations were being carried out into a brutal massacre in the country like the Sunday Easter attacks, the best thing for someone to do, if they were not guilty, was to support the investigations. He emphasized that a citizen of the country, and especially as a public officer and a military official, one could prove their innocence by supporting the investigations if they were not guilty. However, he noted that if an individual or a group supporting and abating them gathered to cause a commotion to disrupt the investigations, it implicitly suggested that their involvement in that matter. He reiterated that the best course of action to prove innocence was to assist with the investigations, which would help bring justice to the victims of the massacre, identify the mastermind, uncover the political connections involved, and formulate the necessary legal provisions and mechanisms to prevent such brutal political assassinations in the future. He remarked that any attempt to disrupt the process indicated that there was something else concealed behind it, nothing that a commotion not present during the initial 90 days had now become to surface. The cabinet media spokesman firmly stated that even if 10 structures were set up instead of one, the investigations would not be halted. He added that gathering 12 or 18 people would not hinder or obstruct the criminal investigation department from carrying out its duties, and they could give as many voice cuts as they wished. However, he stressed that regardless of what was done, the government would act in accordance with the mandate it had received to deliver justice and fairness to the public. He assured that the investigation would proceed in a manner that ensured justice for the people killed in the Easter Sunday bomb attacks, as well as those who remained injured to that day. The cabinet media spokesman warned that if someone behaved or made statements in a manner that obstructed the investigations, the CID would report the facts to the court and the court would make its decisions thereafter. He alleged that they had political motive to disrupt the investigations and decided to suppress the political connections related to the Easter Sunday massacre. He concluded that the adversaries' panic was the best evidence that the investigations were progressing properly. The cabinet media spokesman further said that the government has not yet started a discussion of extending the retirement age of the judges. Addressing the retirement age of the judges, Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa stated that there was currently no discussion within the government regarding the extension of the parliament age for the judges. However, he mentioned that proposals have been received from various professional groups to raise the retirement age. The minister noted that request has been made from the professional side regarding whether the services of such experienced individuals could be retained in the public service for a further period. While acknowledging that there were requests from the other professionals as well, he explicitly stated that no such decision had been made regarding judges yet.
The extension of state of emergency passed in Parliament today by a majority of 128 votes. 135 votes are received for the proposal and only 7 received against. Meanwhile, Minister Ananda Vijaypala revealed at the Parliament that a racket of sending dollars out of the country in the guise of importing goods.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism Vijay Hera stated that a certain amount of their money was going out of the country. He mentioned that the answer to that had been found through technology itself. Therefore, the minister added that they were interviewing to introduce new methodologies in collaborating with the Digital Ministry. Parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake stated that when foreigners left without paying taxes, Sri Lankans working hard faced pressure in the country and paid taxes from morning until night. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism Vijay Hera. Addressing him, he pointed out that the person had also been the finance minister but had not addressed it during that time. He stated that it could have been done back then and that the former minister had seen it during his tenure but had failed to act on it. Minister of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs Ananda Vijaypala stated that facts have been uncovered regarding a racket where a large amount of dollars was sent out of the country under the disguise of importing goods. He revealed that ongoing investigations had disclosed that politicians, certain officials from various institutions and various fraudsters were part of that corrupt circle. The minister explained that large sums of money had been sent to foreign companies through a method known as telegraphic transfer or TT in common usage, implying that goods were being imported. However, he noted that no goods have been imported to the country in exchange for those funds at any point. Minister Vijaypala further disclosed that those companies had transferred a considerable amount of large amount amount of money to 256 companies in 26 foreign countries through TT across 953 instances. Through that process, $41.7 million had been moved out of the country. He emphasized that despite sending the money under the pretext of importing goods through TT, they had not brought any goods into the country. Additionally, the minister mentioned that investigations had revealed that funds related to the recent NDB finance fraud of 13 billion rupees, which had been confirmed as sent out of the country, were also transferred through those transactions. Deputy Minister of Mass Media Dr. Kaushalya Ariratna stated that on the previous day they had seen about 16 people gathering to stage a massive satyagraha, attempting to cause a major disturbance in front of the Fort railway station. She mentioned that they observed some people performing Bodhi Pujas for murderers rather than for anyone else. She questioned what souls of the deceased must be feeling when peaceful protests were held on behalf of the murderers. She expressed her belief that no matter what else they might escape from, those murderers as well as those groups who aided them and conducted Bodhi Pujas on their behalf could not escape their own conscience. She urged people to look at the faces of those who had been rejected by the public, the old politicians who had become like invalid coins, noting what was visible on their faces was fear. The Deputy Minister stated that it was the fear arising from knowing that justice was being served and nothing else. She concluded that looking at those photographs was sufficient to show that justice was being prevailed. Deputy Minister of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs Attorney at Law Sunil Vatakala stated that following the arrest of Suresh Saleh, some people who had now become somewhat agitated described the extent of the panic. He mentioned that Suresh Saleh was scheduled to held in detention for the 90 days faced an external development when a foreign travel ban was obtained involving Mr. Gotabe Rajapaksa. He stated that after the travel ban was implemented, people began to panic. Identifying those individuals, he pointed out that Pilyan's lawyer, noting that they had never seen him arguing a case in a court of law. He mentioned that the lawyer had rushed in the morning to claim that he was Pilyan's attorney. He explained that along with that arrest, people had gathered in frenzy. Deputy Minister remarked that those whose votes had been divided were now claiming to be friends and had begun to launch a unified attack on the government, claiming that a grave injustice was being done to Suresh Saleh. However, speaking on behalf of the police department, he stated that they did not see it that way and emphasized that no injustice had been done to Suresh Saleh. He assured that the investigations into the Sunday Easter attacks, including the process of catching the thieves, would by no means be stopped or hindered and would continue until the mastermind was caught.
7 people have passed away due to various accidents such as a fire, a train accident and a wild elephant attack which have occurred in several places of the island.
3 persons who were admitted to the Colombo National Hospital with burn injuries died later. 3 fire tenders of Kotte Municipal Council were engaged to douse the fire. Police suspect that the fire broke out due to a gas leakage. Thalangaba police are conducting further investigations in this regard. Another 2 persons have died in a train accident occurred today at the Kandhana Halpe railway crossing. The accident occurred when a train from Chilaw to Colombo Fort collided with a 3-wheeler. The driver of the 3-wheeler and a female who travelled in it had succumbed to injuries. According to the police, they were residents of Jaila area. A wild elephant attack has occurred at Attana Kadavala in Polonnaruwa, in which 2 persons lost their lives. A female aged about 80 years and a male of 58 years of age have died in this attack, which occurred in this morning today. According to the residents of the area, 2 wild elephants who reached the Attana Kadavala area last night from Damulla Reservoir via Yodaala have attacked these 2 persons. The 2 elephants were seen roaming in the area until around 11 am today. Later, wildlife officials with the help of the residents of the area were able to chase away the elephants. One of the 2 elephants had attacked and dragged a person who has been drying coconut husk when a woman was also attacked. Both of them have died later. The other elephant had attacked a person walking towards Diyabeduma from Attana Kadavala. He has been thrown out by the elephant and was hospitalized and is being treated with severe injuries.
The Committee for Food Policy and Safety has focused special attention regarding how to prepare for any influence caused to Sri Lanka by a possible global El Nino condition in future and the measures taken to face this problem. When the committee met at the Presidential Secretariat last evening, the members held a discussion on this matter.
The discussion was held under the patronage of Ministers K.D. Lalkant and Vasantha Samarasinghe. They focused attention on the influences caused to the agricultural sector in Sri Lanka in an El Nino condition. They also raised concern to secure drinking water and store adequate amount of water in reservoirs needed to cultivations in the Yalla season. They instructed the Ministry of Agriculture, Department of Agriculture, Mahaveli Authority, Department of Irrigation and other line institutions to prepare and submit plans how to face any El Nino condition. The ministers pointed out that the plans should be prepared in advance to face any possible condition in future. Members of the Committee for Food Policy and Safety were also present at this discussion.
More stories on the other side of this break.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Pantamari. Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Pantamari.
Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Welcome back, and in more local stories, Cabinet approval has been granted to establish an authority for the management of upper watershed areas.
The proposal was submitted by the President, Anukumara Dissanayake.
This proposal has been presented considering the need for urgent measures to address the situation which has been aggravated by the decades of improper land use. Accordingly, under a three-phase implementation plan, a technical expert committee is to be appointed to properly identify the institutional structure and operational scope of the Upper Watershed Management Authority, and a draft bill is to be prepared for that purpose. A 5-year development program has been planned for the long-term welfare of migrant worker families. This is intended as an integrated and systematic approach to migrant worker family development. Its objective is to provide a sustainable standard of living for the families of overseas workers who require special attention. Cabinet approval was granted for the proposal presented by Minister Vijitha Herath. The need for a national water tariff policy for all water supply and sanitation service providers has been identified. Accordingly, Cabinet approval was granted for the proposal presented by Minister Dr. Susil Ranasinghe to formulate a national water tariff policy covering all water service providers under the Sri Lanka Water Supply and Sanitation Sector Reform Program, a policy-based loan program implemented with the funding from the Asian Development Bank. Cabinet approval has been granted for the proposal presented by Minister Professor Chandana Aperatne to expand the existing road network under the Homagama Mahenwatta Technology City project. Accordingly, the narrow road section from the school junction to the textbook warehouse of the Pitipana Talagala road is to be widened into a 2-lane road. Under the Clean Sri Lanka program, 26 projects are expected to be implemented in 24 local authority areas based on priority needs through the sanitation facilities improvement project carried out by local government institutions island-wide. An allocation of 150 million rupees has been made for this purpose under the Clean Sri Lanka program. This proposal was presented by Minister Dr. Chandana Aberatna. Cabinet approval has been granted for the proposal presented by President Anukumara Dissanayake to instruct the legal draftsman to prepare a digital economy bill in order to accelerate digital transformation and the growth of the digital economy. Through this, it is expected to create an institutional framework with legal authority to ensure effective implementation of the national digital policy and guidelines.
A meeting was held yesterday between the Minister of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, and the Pakistani High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, retired Major General Dr. Nayyar Nazir, at the Ministry of Mass Media.
More attention has been focused on strengthening cooperation between the two countries through multiple sectors and also further cementing long-term social, economic and political relations between Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Discussions were also conducted regarding steps that could be taken to improve the health services of the two countries and the improvement of the pharmaceutical supply sector. Views were also exchanged regarding the expansion of vocational training and cooperation pertaining to sectors such as reviving medical scholarships for Sri Lankan students, especially those who are studying in Pakistan, and exchange of educational and training opportunities regarding the medical sector as well as medical educational cooperation existing in both countries. Another striking feature of the discussions have been exchanged of media programs which include cultural aspects of both countries and also the promotion and tourism and mass media sector. It has also been pointed out that there is an enormous capacity to develop tourism industry between the two countries.
Showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces, as well as in the Gaul, Mathura, Kandy and Norelia districts, according to the Department of Meteorology. A few showers may also occur in the Anuradhapura and Hambantota districts. Strong winds of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour are expected at times over the western slopes of the central hills, the northern and north central provinces, and in the Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. Meanwhile, fairly strong winds of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected in other parts of the island. The public has been advised to take necessary precautions against strong winds and lightning associated with thunder showers.
The Colombo Stock Exchange ended today's trading positively. The all-share price index closed at 21,547.17 after rising by 143.89 points, which represents a 0.67% change. The SL&P SL20 index closed at 6,000.68, up by 32.27 points and 0.54%. The total market capitalization at the close of trading today stood at 7.833 trillion rupees. The market turnover for the day amounted to 2.16 billion rupees, with 73.03 million shares traded. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
Love rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kutumi. Pantamari.
Now to foreign news. The death toll from a fierce airstrike launched by Israel targeting a residential area in southern Lebanese coastal city of Tyre, one of the main coastal cities, has risen to 9.
The National News Agency of Lebanon confirms that another 28 people have been seriously injured in this bombing attack.
Civil defense and ambulance teams are already conducting massive rescue operations to find those trapped among the rubble and missing. Following the severe attack, the Israeli military has issued orders for residents living in the entire area of Tyre city, including its historic Christian quarters, to evacuate immediately. It is reported that thousands of civilians are fleeing the city by vehicles to save their lives following warnings from Israeli military that further airstrikes will be launched. Israel issued this announcement after Iran warned that it would resume attacks against Israel. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump, marking a special statement to the media, says that he is in the final throes of a peace deal with Iran. Trump expresses confidence that this agreement can be signed within the next 5 days, which will prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons and enable the immediate reopening of the currently closed Strait of Hormuz. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has stated that the existing ceasefire is only a temporary one.
Meanwhile, Apple has unveiled a major artificial intelligence upgrade for its digital assistant Siri for the annual Worldwide Developers Conference. The new Siri AI will offer a more personalized conversational experience using a user's past interactions, image understanding and broader knowledge to provide smart assistance across Apple devices and applications. Apple says the upgraded assistant has been designed with privacy at its core and will work alongside new AI powers features that are already available through Apple Intelligence. The company also announced a new child safety measures, including stronger parental controls and automatic filtering of images identified as inappropriate for children. The conference will also be notable for the final WWDC keynote of the Apple CEO Tim Cook, who is set to step down in September after leading the company for 15 years. He will be succeeded by John Turnus. The beta version of the Siri AI is expected to be released after this year for the supported devices operating in English.
And in your sports news tonight, the third one-day international between Sri Lanka and the West Indies was abandoned due to rain today.
Accordingly, Sri Lanka won the series 1-0. The Sri Lankan team has won an ODI series in the West Indies after 23 years. Sri Lanka recently won the first ODI against West Indies by 41 runs. The second match was abandoned due to rain. The match, which was supposed to be commenced today morning, was also abandoned as per decision taken by referees due to rain. Accordingly, Sri Lanka were able to win the series 1-0. The first match of the T20 tournament between the two countries will be played on the 12th of the month at Kingston. Meanwhile, in the first triangular series participating with India, Afghanistan and Sri Lanka, India recorded an 8-run victory against Sri Lanka today. The match was played at Dambulla International Cricket Stadium. Batting first, India put up a total of 277 runs, losing 6 wickets in their 50 overs. In reply, Sri Lanka were all out for 269 runs in 48.5 overs. That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.
You can make a difference. It is your duty to help eradicate dengue. Clean up your environment at least once a week. A message from the Dengue Control Unit of the Ministry of Health.
සිහින ලොවක් දුටුවා මතකයි